Twilight Zone, part of it was telling like ghost stories or tales around the campfire that could be repeated or augmented. Now, ironically, this was a cold weather episode of the Twilight Zone shown in May of 1961. But for me, this is what I call a cold weather horror story about allegedly an alien spacecraft from Mars crashing into a cold wintry night, and the survivor or the only person in the craft goes to a local coffee shop. The same time, a diverted bus on bad roads goes there, so one of the people at the coffee shop is the real Martian. It's called Will the Real Martian Please Stand Up, and it's probably one of the strongest acted episodes of the series. It was episode 64 in season 2, May 26, 61. Now, the promo of the episode, where Rod would do the jumpers at the end of certain episodes, has him outside in a wintry wonderland. Kind of looks like Alberta, New Brunswick back in the day, near a bus stop, like, February or March of, a long, cold winter. His narration is quite interesting. He said, consider a wintry February night the present. Order events, a phone call from a frightened woman noting the arrival of a UFO. Then the checkout you just witnessed with two straight troopers verifying the event, but with nothing more enlightening to add beyond evidence of some tracks leading across the highway to a diner. You've heard of trying to find a needle in a haystack? Well, stay with us now, and you'll be part of an investigating team whose mission is not to find that proverbial needle. No, their task is even harder. They've got to find a Martian in a diner. And in just a moment, you'll search with them because you just landed in the Twilight Zone. Now, this episode plays out almost like a stage play because you got a whole bunch of good character actors and a lot of people that went on to bigger recognition down the road, including John Hoyt, who was in a previous videotape Star Trek episode, The Lateness of the Hour. He's always strong, and he was in the Star Trek pilot. And you have Jack Elam with his bug eyes playing Avery, the crazy man who basically, it's a regular Rad Bradbury, like investigation. He's just tremendous in this. He's worked the whole episode. Now, Barney Phillips, again, plays Haley the cook, who may or may not be the person that they are trying to find. And William Kendis, underrated as Olmsted, the bus driver. Now, in this one, while investigating reports of a UFO, state troopers Dan Perry and Bill Paget, who seem to be as straight-laced as possible in such a weird episode, find evidence that something crashed in a frozen pond and his occupant fled to a nearby diner called the Highway Cafe. Why would there be footsteps? Well, that's what they find. Upon arriving, the troopers find a bus parked outside. Inside the diner, they find a cook, Haley, bus driver Homestead, and his passengers. Dancer Ethel McConnell, outlandish old man Avery, businessman Ross, played by Hoyt, and two married couples. The troopers announce a suspected alien may be among them and ask for everyone to identify themselves. Like, this is a normal thing in 1961, but again, it is the science fiction era of the 60s. After introducing himself, Olmsted states he was forced to stop at the diner due to a snowstorm outside and one of the roads being impassable. Upon learning that the bridge ahead is also closed, the troopers tell the passengers they may have to wait until morning, pending an inspection by the county engineer to see if the bridge is okay. Olmsted states he counted 6 passengers on initial boarding, but the troopers point out 7 in the diner. Haley claims the diner was empty before the bus arrived. Following initial debate, Ethel suggests the couple should be cleared of suspicion as the spouses know each other. Both couples readily agree, but begin suspecting each other. And it's kind of weird with the younger couple. The woman says, there used to be a mole on your chin. Like aliens would have moles taken away. Craziness. When asked for ID, Ethel claims to have sent ahead with her luggage. Despite this, Olmsted vouches for her, admitting he did notice her, for obvious reasons, because she was nice looking. As Avery jokes and Ross complains about not being able to make an important meeting in Boston, tensions rise after jukebox flashes and the tabletop sugar dispensers explode. The troopers then receive a phone call telling that the bridge is safe to cross. Olmsted is concerned about his instability, but the troopers assuage his fears, and everyone leaves after paying Haley. Now, sometime later, Ross returns alone and explains the bridge collapse, with no survivors other than himself. When Haley asks how Ross survived, the latter explains that everything that happened earlier, such as a jukebox and phone call, were illusions, and reveals himself as the alien by displaying three arms. He says that he's a scout sent ahead of his arriving fleet to ensure Earth is ready for Martian colonization. However, Haley reveals that he's a scout for Venus and that his colonists have intercepted the Martian fleet displaying a third eye on his forehead hidden by his cap. Now, this is the denouement, which we know is coming, but what's kind of weird, the tree arms is very effective where he's smoking. And by the way, Twilight Zone was heavily sponsored by smoking companies at the time. There's got to be 5 or 6 scenes involved smoking in this episode, so it's really heavy on the product placement. But the fake eye doesn't really work for me. Although the guy showing it, he makes the part go because he's more unassuming than the other people on it, and to win a battle you must know how to play your cards. Now this is Rod's closing narration. Incident on a small island to be believed or disbelieved. However, it's a sour-faced dandy named Ross, or a big, good-natured counterman who handles a spatula, as he'd been born with one of his mouth. If either of these two entities walk onto your premises, you better hold their hands, all three of them, or check the color of their eyes, all three of them. The gentleman in question might try to pull you in to the Twilight Zone. Now, there's plot holes galore in this, and it's not really something can be gotten away. Although the new Twilight Zone, the most recent one, tried a similar theme with an Indian alien. Anyway, it is what it is. But what this really works is like it goes so fast, it doesn't feel like 26 minutes or whatever. And the fact is, what if, could this have happened in this way? Yes. Because back then there was a lot of bus traffic, and bus traffic is still heavy in parts of New Brunswick and parts of Canada, the old SMT buses, because people would get on buses when I used to go on buses from Nash Creek, New Brunswick to my college in Woodstock, New Brunswick. And some of the people that got on, they looked like aliens. They looked like, somebody from another planet. So it's not unnecessary to believe that these things could occur. But what really works in this episode is that the actors they're so believable in their small roles. It really, really works. And like the troopers themselves, they're not dumb. They know that to make their job easier, they have to make other people's job easier. But they weren't thinking it through. Well, there might be a Martian, but would there be any Venusians around too? Because if they're trying to take over Earth, the Venusians and the people from Mars would not be getting along. Like, it's our new territory. But it would have been nice to do a follow-up episode in whatever new version of the Twilight Zone later on to see if they were running diners or whatever. But, this would have been interesting to do. Now, I'm going to throw something at you very, very quickly. It's too bad that Night Gallery, which is an NBC production, couldn't have asked Rod to do sequels of his key episodes in the Night Gallery. I think it would really work. Now, Montgomery Pittman directed this quite ably and good use of black and white. Of course, Rod did the writing. Again, John Hoyt as Ross the businessman, Gene Wiles as Ethel, Jackie Lamb as Avery, Barney Phillips as Illy, John Archer as Trooper Bill, William Kellin as Olmsted, the bus driver, Morgan Jones as Trooper Perry, Gertrude Flynn as Rose Kramer, the older wife, Bill Irwin as Peter Kramer, the older husband, Jill Ellis as Connie Prince, the younger wife, and Rod Kipling doing his best Tab Hunter impersonation, plays George Prince, the younger husband. Now, ironically, two of the most controversial episodes of that season were before and after this one. The Mind and the Matter, which is kind of a one-person performance about a guy who's tired of the world, and he makes his own through the use of mind development. But The Obsolete Man with Burgess Meredith, that is the next episode. Boys, this was a strong end to season 2 for sure, because The Obsolete Man arguably is the best staged, because it can be done on stage episode of the Twilight Zone. And I think will the Real Martian Please Stand Up could be done for the stage as well. Rod was writing more for the stage in this second season, but it holds up. I would give this episode 3.5 stars out of 4. The only problem with it is this: it's like a comic book version. It's not, the plot holes are great. It's like a grade 8 reading level of an anthology. But name dropping Ray Bradbury, because Serling asked Ray Bradbury many times to learn him how to write science fiction. Like Rod was never a science fiction writer per se, but Ray Bradbury, the name dropping, I don't know of any other writer name dropping another writer in such a way. So I don't know if it was basically stroking the cat or basically as a tribute, but for me it works because, but Jackie Lamb, boys, oh boys, oh boys, bug-eyed, you know. Yeah, he goes up to the jukebox and take me to your leader. That's the crazy old man shtick that works in Canada. You see these people at bars and legions all the time. They're so crazy, people accept them. Like, you know, they have the person on stage that sing us a real song, not something by that fucking lazy Elvis. I got that once from an old man in a legion in Batters. He basically asked the DJ not to sing Elvis because he said he found Elvis boring. You had to be there to get the joke. It just had to be seen. The same bug eyes. So ladies and gentlemen, if you like what we're doing with our Twilight Zone reviews or what you call recaps, let us know with a like, comment, subscribe, or share. By the way, if you go to a bar in New Brunswick and you don't recognize the person at the bar because he doesn't speak French, English, or Mi'kmaq or Maliseet, he could be an alien. Not an illegal alien, say like Genesis, and not like a Mexican alien or a Chinese alien crossing the border. It could be a real alien saying, you know, wonder the next bus is passing there. I gotta get to Boston for my get together. Thanks for listening. Bye.